Hello, welcome to another video. Welcome to the Health Nut Diabetic. I hope you find this content useful for you if you are dealing with diabetes or someone you love that has diabetes, okay? So today I am going to talk about some mistakes that I made after I started using insulin. Again, I am an insulin dependent diabetic, so I've talked about that in another video. I'm currently using injections, but I will be transferring to a pump. But I want to talk about some mistakes I made when I started on the insulin, okay? Just kind of general mistakes that I made that maybe any newbie with insulin might make, okay? So the first one, and I think a lot of diabetics probably do this too, was chronically underdosing. I take quite a large amount of insulin compared to some other diabetics, but everybody's different. I didn't know that I took a lot until I started telling people how much I took, and like, oh wow, you know. But to me, it was just what I needed to prevent a spike. So I was chronically underdosing because I thought, well, maybe I'm taking too much because I'm not taking, I'm taking so much more than they are, and maybe I'm taking too much, maybe this is dangerous, etc. And I also, insulin is very, very expensive. So I thought, oh, I should just try to kind of scrimp a little bit and save and be like more frugal with my insulin. I'm just taking too much. But that is not the case. So I eat a very healthy, balanced diet. I have been a health nut and into health for years and years and years. So I usually always eat a very healthy diet. So it's not like I'm scourging on a bunch of carbs and need like tons of insulin. That's not the case. For a balanced meal, I still needed a lot of insulin. And I also, earrings are going crazy, guys. What is going on here? I'm trying to get this working out here. Okay. Looking better now. So anyway, and I was also trying to not take insulin with snacks, which was not working out for me. So basically every time I eat something, I have to take insulin. Unless it's something with like 0 carbs in it, and still sometimes that affects my sugar. That's just me personally. Everybody's different. Some diabetics don't have to take insulin for snacks. Some can take way less than me. Probably some take way more. I don't know. But anyway, everybody's different. Me personally, I made the mistake of chronically underdosing for me and my needs. So once I actually started, so you have to figure out kind of your carb to insulin ratio, whereas like, okay, I'm eating 15 grams of carbs right now with this snack. So I need X amount of insulin units so that I don't have a spike. Everybody needs to figure out their personal ratio, okay? Whether it's a 1 to 5, like 1 unit every 5 grams of carbs, 1 unit every 10 grams of carbs, 1 unit every 2 grams of carbs. Everybody's going to be different. And each food is going to be slightly different. There are some foods I can't even dose for. Like, I can't. Like, they just always spike my sugar. So I just kind of don't eat them. So what you do is you actually have to dose for that ratio. So if I know with lunch I'm going to eat approximately 30 grams of carbs, I need to think, okay, this is my ratio, and I actually need to take that amount of insulin. Rather than thinking, oh, I'll take maybe half that amount or a little less than that amount. I stopped doing that, and I stopped having as many spikes because I was appropriately dosing for my carb ratio thresholds, okay? So that's my first mistake. Second one was not pre-lacing. So pre-lacing is a diabetic term, and that is when you take the insulin before you eat. So you plan, like, okay, I'm going to eat lunch in 20 minutes. So I'm going to take my insulin now and let it go ahead and get working in my system. So it helps if you drink water too. So you might take the insulin, drink a glass of water. And I just threw out 20 minutes, okay? Don't go by that. This is not medical advice. You need to ask your doctor, and you need to figure out for your own body, because everybody needs to pre-lace different amounts of time. Some people don't need to. Some people need to pre-lace 10 minutes, some 20, some 30, some an hour. It totally depends. If you're pregnant, sometimes you have to pre-lace an hour because you're so insulin resistant, while you're pregnant. So some women are, okay, not everybody. So anyway, I generally have to pre-lace around 20 to 30 minutes. That's me personally. Do not go by that. Talk to your doctor. you figure it out. Okay. Me personally, 20 to 30 minutes pre-lacing generally works pretty good. And you have to be very careful with pre-lacing, okay? Because if you it's very dangerous. So I understand why doctors don't always recommend it, okay? Because if you take the insulin and say you fall asleep or you forget to eat, I mean, you can have a serious tank and you can possibly even die. Okay, so you have to be very careful with pre-lacing. You gotta know what you're doing. One thing diabetes has taught me is like, you just have to be on top of your game all the time. Like, you literally have to be a health nut. I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. I have to be a health nut. I have to keep track of what I eat. I have to keep track of the insulin I take, etc., or I could die. So, or get very ill. Like, you have to be on top of stuff. So, what I do is, I was making the mistake of not pre-lacing enough because I was afraid, or I was thinking, oh my gosh, what if I forget to eat or whatever. But like I said, you have to be really on top of things. So, and it helps if you kind of work it into your life. Like, okay, I'm going to pre-lace and then I'm going to go read a book for 20 minutes. Or I'm going to go work on something for 20 minutes. And I always look at my watch as soon as I pre-lace. Like, I look at my watch, I see what time it is, and then I think, okay, 20 minutes from now is that time, 30 minutes is this time. So I got to be back to the kitchen and eating by a certain time. And you just keep track of that time. And, you sit and do some other activity, or, oh, I'm going to fold these clothes for a few minutes. I'm going to walk the dog outside for a few minutes. But you always keep track of the time. So pre-lacing and pre-lacing the right amount of minutes for you is extremely important. Okay. And then the third mistake I've made, which I've talked about in other videos, but I'll go and talk about in this one, what is being afraid of insulin. So like for years I was afraid to go on insulin, and I read so many negative things about insulin in the holistic kind of health community, which is very sad. I mean, it's very sad that they put that, because type 1 diabetics have to have insulin. And, a lot of type 2s as well, and latent type 1s like me, have to have it. It's very sad to make people feel guilty or bad about something that they like literally have to live. It's very sad. But they would go and like say that, oh, when you inject your stomach's always going to be fat. Your legs are always going to be fat if you inject in your legs. Insulin is proven to make you gain weight. I heard all kinds of horrible things, and like none of them are true. That is not true at all. I feel great on insulin. I feel healthier than I have for like 15 years on insulin. It's sad. It's been very clear to me that my pancreas has not been making insulin for years, at least not in proper amounts of any kind. And it makes me so sad that I was terrified of going on it, because I thought I would just gain weight. Like, I thought I would just balloon up, which wasn't true. Is it harder to lose weight on insulin? I don't know, maybe. It was never that easy for me to lose weight anyway, so I don't really see the difference. So anyway, whatever. And my stomach hasn't blown up, my legs haven't blown up where I inject. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's a lot of type 1s that are extremely thin, and they inject insulin all over their bodies. So, anyway, I was afraid of insulin for so long. I know other people that are scared of insulin. I think they're scared, number one, because of the injections, number two, because of the cost. And the cost, yeah, it's a lot. But like I said, I feel great on it. It doesn't have the side effects as many other sugar drugs do. And yeah, I shouldn't have been so afraid of it. So yeah, definitely figure out your pre-lacing needs with your doctor and your own body. And also, figure out that. Don't be afraid of insulin, and properly dose your insulin for the actual amount of carbs that you're going to eat. Don't scrimp on insulin. Can really hurt you. So yeah, because you could have spikes over and over, or your sugars can stay elevated, which is really damaging to your body and your organs, more so than taking the actual proper amount of insulin. I hope that makes sense. So anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. I am out of time, so have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.